Hey kids, welcome to another Glen Yaps. We're on the drum set today. Um, we're going to discuss a little bit of some drum beats that I do with what they call ghost strokes. And these are just exercises that I do. They are based on two songs, and one is just kind of came across by total accident. So I'll start with that one. First of all, the first song is "Detroit Rock City" by Kiss. I am by no means a Kiss fan, nor am I a Peter Criss fan. Although I do love some of the songs, but I was into other bands at that time, but. That's just my opinion, and everyone has their own opinion. But the interesting thing about Detroit Rock City was this groove that Peter did in the song. Now, I don't know the song note for note. My band rips it out once in a while just to have fun with it on stage. So after hearing the song on the radio so many times, you kind of get the gist of it, but I've never sat down and totally listened to it. But I believe the drum part that I do for the Peter Criss song is probably wrong, but by accident I liked what I came up with for the song. And I believe what happened is, like, the snare drum on that song is really tuned. It sounds like the snare drum skin is really loose. And so it's hard to hear if there are ghost stroke notes in that song or not. But what happens is the bass player's he's playing with a pick, but it sounds it's very percussive sounding. So I think when I started hearing that song on the radio, I misinterpreted the snare drum ghost stroke thing as just being totally that. But I think it's a combination of what the bass player is doing with the pick along with the snare drum pattern. So with the combination of the two, it gives that illusion that it's a ghost stroke type beat, but I think the ghost stroke is actually the bass pick hitting the strings. I could be wrong, like I say, but what I'm getting at is sometimes you get your own ideas by pure coincidence or by accident, however way you want to slice it. And so when we started playing this, I just kind of remembered this part in my head, and it's something I kind of screw around with anyways, this little beat. So this is kind of what I'm not going to play the song. I'm just going to do kind of what I thought I heard in the recording, which may be the combination of the two instruments, the drums and the bass. But it's a fun exercise, so I'm just going to show you what I do. And you can experiment with it with yourself or ignore it. But I found it actually a lot of fun, so I'm going to show it to you here. That's going to slow it down. This is constant. The hi-hat is constant. It's almost what they call a linear beat, where almost at no time does the drums all hit at the same time. There is one point where they do, but which is just that, right? That last thing. Everything else is linear up until that last note. And like I say, linear just means, in my interpretation, nothing hits at the same time to make a groove. Like it's almost in a sequence. I could make it totally linear by leaving out the last hi-hat. But so that is just a simple little ghost stroke exercise. I mean, it's not original. I've heard this type of beat played in other things, but in Detroit Rock City, that's just kind of what I thought I heard. I've never sat down and learned the song Detroit Rock City. And I apologize if it doesn't, it's not the exact, that's not what I was shooting for. It's just letting you know that you can come up with interesting, cool beats just by accident, just by experimentation. When I first heard it, I sang the pattern in my head. I could sing it in my head, so when I got home, like I heard it in the car, came home, you just got on the drums and just did it. And then my band decided to rip it out one night, and they asked, do you know it? And I go, no, but I'll fake my way through it. I've heard it enough on the radio to kind of know how the structure is. And so I just did it. And to do it at the speed of the song was a little bit tricky at first, because it's not a natural, if you're playing straightforward rock, it's not a natural way of using the left hand, but interesting to say the least. Anyways, hope you enjoy it. This is a second video on the simple ghost stroke exercises that I kind of play around with. A lot of people ask me if I can play the song Rosanna, and it's like, yes. I haven't played it in a number of years, but with like any song, you take that and you can make your own exercises out of it. But a lot of people, I shouldn't say people, I should say drummers, always wonder about the ghost stroke parts. They have a hard time with that. Basically, in most of the ghost stroke stuff that I do, if you take the ghost stroke out, the drum beat is fairly simple. In the case of Rosanna, it's a shuffle with in a three feel or triplet feel, and it's almost you're just filling in the space of the missing triplet, the missing three. It's hard to explain. I'll show it to you, but it's a fun beat. It's not used in a lot of songs that I play, but I definitely like playing around with the ghost strokes and the triplet feel just for my own fun. If you're playing jazz and things like that, definitely the triplet ghost strokes are fluent throughout jazz drumming. So I'll give you a rough idea. I'm not going to play the Rosanna song. I'm going to show you the exercise that I use pertaining to the ghost strokes. if you play them really slow, you'll see how the go stroke fills in. That's probably the easiest part of this little exercise. The hardest part is doing the double stroke on the left hand. So the easy way to get used to that, doing the double of the left, is do this back and forth pattern. The Rosanna shuffle is based on the Purdy shuffle. Purdy was another great drummer for doing funk, and I mean, this groove's been done by other drummers, John Bonham and a host of others. Dave Weckl has his own too. All variables. But how I just learned to get used to the go stroke thing was just alternating. And I got used to moving my hands around back and forth just to get used, because you can get used to moving your hands around. Basically, it's singles and doubles. Anyways, this is the idea that I started doing as an exercise. And then I would stretch the spaces out between the double hit, so I move them out 4 times, 5 times. And then add the kick drum in wherever you wish. And that's the thing I got out of Rosanna. Now, Rosanna is a tough song to play. The one thing about Rosanna is the endurance to get through that song. So it's not something that you can do cold turkey if you haven't worked on it in a long time. But what I got from it was, I'd never heard, at that time when I first heard it, I had never heard that type of groove before. I was a beginner drummer, and go strokes I was just getting into, but that whole groove was totally amazing to me. So, like most people, most drummers, when they heard it, they wanted to learn that song, and they found out it wasn't as easy as Jeff Porcaro made it sound. So I learned it, got it down, and he does so many variables in that song. You can tell it was, the basic part was his main thing, and then he was so comfortable with it, he just ad-libbed a lot of stuff. And there is a lot of stuff where the ghost stroke actually goes from the snare, but then flips that it's on the hi-hat. Like when he's switching over to the ride cymbal, you can hear the ghost strokes bounce to the hi-hat. So it's a beautiful song. The whole song is just an amazing piece of writing, and the musicianship is phenomenal. But for me, what I took from it is, how can I use some of this stuff in my own playing? That's always what I look at. It's fun to learn these songs note for note, and that's great. If you ever get the chance to play it live, I never have. I've done some other Toto stuff, but it would be a fun thing to do. But I can't wait for that time, so what I do is I take the little pieces of, say, Jeff Porcaro's drum beat on that song, incorporate it into my own playing, or I can use it on any gig that I want. So these little simple patterns, like I showed you with this one, and also the weird, but it's simple but weird groove that I show in the previous part with Peter Criss's drum groove in Detroit Rock City. They're all little things that I took and adapted to my own bag of tricks, I guess. And you just kind of morph them into the projects that you're with as you see fit. Ghost strokes, I love. They're part of my DNA now. I cannot play songs without ghost strokes in some shape or form when I play. It's just, I like that. It fills in the gap, but in a subtle way. It helps me play better, and I feel more comfortable doing them. Not a lot of drummers use them that I see. Most are straightforward players, which is nothing wrong with that. But I just found it to be a lot of fun. Dave Weckl and Vinnie Colaiuta, those two guys take the ghost stroke thing to phenomenal levels. It's like, I'm just learning some Dave Weckl stuff from his online school that I've been enrolled in on and off for the past few years, and it's just like mind twisting. So not easy stuff at all, but still I'm up for a challenge. So I hope you enjoyed these little snippets of what I do, and pass them on to fellow drummers and have fun with them. Thanks for watching.